The old house stood alone, isolated, forgotten. It was as if time itself had abandoned it, leaving it to wither away in solitude. It was a mansion once, a grand estate that echoed with laughter and life, where the wealthy and influential gathered for lavish parties and celebrations. Now, it was a husk, a shell of its former glory. The walls that once held so many memories now crumbled under the weight of neglect. Blackwood Manor, they called it, a name that once commanded respect and admiration, now whispered with fear and trepidation. The name hung in the air, heavy with dread. It was a place shrouded in mystery and dark tales, a place where shadows seemed to move of their own accord. The house perched atop a hill, overlooking a bleak and desolate countryside. The land around it was as lifeless as the mansion itself, a barren expanse that seemed to stretch on forever. Windswept moors stretched out from the foot of the hill, their silence broken only by the cry of crows. The birds circled ominously, as if guarding the secrets buried within the manor's walls. A single dirt road snaked its way towards the mansion, disappearing around a bend as if swallowed by the landscape itself. The path was overgrown and seldom traveled, a testament to the fear it inspired. Few dared to travel that road. The locals spoke of strange occurrences and eerie sounds that emanated from the manor, deterring even the bravest souls. Fewer still dared to reach its end. Those who did often returned with tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, their faces pale with terror. The mansion loomed, a specter against the ever-present gray sky. It was a haunting silhouette, a reminder of a past that refused to be forgotten. Its once bright facade was now a patchwork of peeling paint and crumbling stone. The grandeur of its architecture was marred by the relentless march of decay. Windows gaped like empty eyes, their glass long gone, replaced by boarded-up planks that did little to keep out the encroaching decay. The house seemed to watch, silently observing the world that had moved on without it. It was a house that seemed to exist outside of time, untouched by the passing seasons, yet slowly succumbing to a creeping rot that emanated from within. The very air around it felt heavy, as if burdened by the weight of countless untold stories and forgotten sorrows. The locals knew the stories. They whispered them like a shared secret, a warning passed down through generations. Avoid Blackwood Manor, they'd say, especially after dark. For Blackwood Manor held secrets, dark secrets. They spoke of the land itself, cursed by a forgotten tragedy. Some whispered of a witch's coven that once used the land for their rituals, their malevolent energy seeping into the very soil. Others spoke of a great battle fought on the moors, the blood of the fallen staining the earth and calling forth restless spirits. The wind carried these stories, weaving them into the fabric of the place. It howled across the moors, a mournful sound that seemed to echo the sorrow and pain that clung to Blackwood Manor. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying fragments of conversations, whispers of dread, and the chilling laughter of children long gone. Blackwood Manor was more than just a decaying house. It was a relic of a bygone era, standing as a testament to the passage of time and the secrets it held within its crumbling walls. It was a vessel, they said, a conduit for something dark and sinister. The very air around it seemed to hum with an eerie energy, as if the house itself was alive and breathing. Those brave enough to approach during the daylight hours spoke of an oppressive atmosphere, a palpable sense of dread that settled upon them like a shroud. The closer they got, the heavier the air seemed to become, making it difficult to breathe. But it was at night that Blackwood Manor truly came alive. The darkness seemed to awaken the spirits within, and the house would transform into a place of terror and mystery. Or rather, that's when the dead seemed to stir within its walls. The temperature would drop suddenly, and an unearthly chill would permeate the air, sending shivers down the spines of those who dared to enter. Locals told of flickering lights seen in the windows, like ghostly candles marking a macabre vigil. These lights would dance and flicker, casting eerie shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. Unexplained noises emanated from the house, the sound of footsteps on creaking floorboards, disembodied voices whispering in the dead of night. These sounds would echo through the empty halls, creating an atmosphere of constant unease. There were stories of a spectral woman in white, her sorrowful cries echoing across the moors as she searched for something, or someone, lost long ago. Her presence was said to bring a profound sadness to all who encountered her. Others whispered of a shadowy figure that lurked in the mansion's darkened hallways, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. This figure was said to be the guardian of the manor, forever bound to its cursed grounds, watching over the secrets that lay hidden within. The history of Blackwood Manor was shrouded in mystery, passed down through fragmented tales and local lore. But one thing was certain: tragedy had visited this house. It had left its mark on the very stones, staining the history of Blackwood Manor with sorrow and despair. The Blackwood family, once prominent landowners, had built the manor generations ago. They lived there in opulence, their laughter echoing through the halls, their joy a stark contrast to the darkness that would later permeate the house. But their happiness was short-lived. A fire, they said, swept through the manor one dark and stormy night. Flames consumed the building, trapping the family within its inferno. The screams, the locals whispered, could be heard for miles, carried on the wind across the desolate moors. Section 5. A Legacy of Terror. Few dared to venture inside Blackwood Manor after the fire. The once grand estate now stood as a haunting reminder of a tragic past. The stories kept most people at bay, the whispers of restless spirits and vengeful entities too chilling to ignore. The locals spoke in hushed tones about the eerie sounds that emanated from the manor at night. Those who did venture inside rarely stayed long, driven back by the oppressive atmosphere and the chilling feeling of being watched. The creaking floors and flickering lights only added to the sense of dread. Rumors circulated of secret passages hidden within the walls, passages that seemed to have a life of their own, shifting and changing as if guided by unseen hands. Remnants of a bygone era when the Blackwoods may have used them for clandestine meetings. These hidden rooms were said to hold the secrets of the family's dark dealings. Some whispered that these passages led to hidden chambers, chambers that were never meant to be discovered by outsiders. Places where the family kept their most prized possessions, treasures that were said to be cursed, and perhaps their darkest secrets. Secrets that, if uncovered, could unravel the very fabric of the Blackwood legacy. The fire, some said, hadn't been an accident at all. It was a deliberate act meant to erase the sins of the past. There were whispers of foul play, of a sinister plot that had been brewing for years, of a family torn apart by greed and betrayal. The Blackwoods were known for their wealth but also for their internal strife. They spoke of a jealous servant, one who had been wronged and sought vengeance. Seeking revenge for some perceived slight, the servant's anger knew no bounds, or perhaps even a family member, driven by jealousy and a thirst for power. Driven to madness by their own twisted desires, the true culprit remained a mystery, shrouded in the shadows of Blackwood Manor. Section 6. The Search for Answers. Over the years, Blackwood Manor had attracted more than just curious onlookers and thrill-seekers. Paranormal investigators, drawn by the stories and the palpable sense of dread that permeated the house, had attempted to pierce the veil of mystery that shrouded Blackwood Manor. They came with their EMF readers and EVP recorders, their cameras and their courage, hoping to document the unexplained and perhaps even communicate with the entities that haunted the house. Some claim to have captured evidence of paranormal activity, unexplained temperature drops, disembodied voices whispering through static, even fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures lurking in the darkness. But the evidence was often inconclusive, open to interpretation and skepticism. The mysteries of Blackwood Manor remained, elusive and resistant to scientific scrutiny, fueling the legends and ensuring the house's terrifying legacy lived on. Section 7. The House Speaks. One night, a group of these investigators, seasoned veterans of the paranormal, dared to spend the night within the walls of Blackwood Manor. They set up their equipment, cameras strategically placed to capture any activity, their senses on high alert. The hours ticked by, each one stretching into an eternity as the investigators waited, listened, and watched. The silence within the mansion was oppressive, broken only by the creaking of the house settling around them and the occasional gust of wind that rattled the boarded-up windows. And then, it happened. A sound, faint at first but unmistakable. A child's laughter, echoing through the empty halls. The investigators exchanged glances, a mixture of excitement and trepidation in their eyes. Section 8. Unanswered Questions. Following the sound of the child's laughter, the investigators experienced a surge of paranormal activity. EMF readers spiked, their needles dancing erratically. Cameras captured fleeting shadows darting across the hallways, too quick and too fleeting to be definitively identified. And then, the EVP recorder, left in the mansion's old nursery, picked up a voice. It was a whisper, barely audible beneath the static, but the words sent chills down their spines. "Help me," the voice pleaded, its tone filled with an unbearable sadness. The investigators left Blackwood Manor that night shaken to their core. They returned time and time again, drawn back by the chilling experiences and the unanswered questions that lingered like the scent of decay within the mansion's walls. But Blackwood Manor held its secrets close, offering glimpses of its dark history but never fully revealing the truth. Section 9, Blackwood's Shadow Remains. Today, Blackwood Manor still stands, a stark silhouette against the desolate landscape. It remains a place of mystery, a source of fear and fascination for those who know its dark history. The stories continue to circulate, whispered from one generation to the next, ensuring that the legend of Blackwood Manor lives on. Is Blackwood Manor truly haunted? Are the spirits of the Blackwood family condemned to wander its halls for eternity, forever trapped by the tragedy that claimed their lives? Or are the stories merely that, tales spun around the flickering light of a campfire designed to frighten and entertain? The answers, like the house itself, remain shrouded in mystery, hidden within the decaying walls of Blackwood Manor, a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed.